Everyone on the internet is talking about making thousands per month with Airbnb, but nobody is actually breaking down the real costs of what it takes to get started, especially with the Airbnb arbitrage model. So in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly what it takes to start and run a proper Airbnb arbitrage business. And by the end of this, you'll realize if it's a business that you actually wanna get started with or not. If you're not already familiar with, Airbnb rental arbitrage is basically where you rent a property from a long-term owner on a long-term lease, like a 1 year or 2 year lease, and you pay them rent every single month, but you get permission from the property owner or the landlord to be able to sublease their property and list it as a short-term rental. And you're able to list the property on short-term rental platforms like Airbnb, VRBO, and Booking.com. You don't own the property, but you control the cash flow once you learn how to do Airbnb. It's one of the lowest cost ways to actually get started in real estate and into short-term rentals. But it's also one of the easiest ways to lose money if you don't understand how this game works. So in this video, I'm going to break down all the numbers and everything that you need to know so you can make an educated decision if this is the business you want to get into. Now, to start arbitrage, you'll need to secure a lease with proper written contracts to actually run that property as an Airbnb short-term rental. This also means that to start the property, you need to pay the first month rent, a security deposit, and then money for furnishing the property. So for example, let's say you're getting a property where the rent is $2,000. Just to break down the numbers very simply, a property that's $2,000 monthly rent, then you're gonna pay security deposit $2,000, and then you're gonna have to furnish that place. So let's just say if this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, $2,000 rent, $2,000 security deposit, that's $4,000, and then an average 2-bedroom is probably going to cost you around $6,000 to furnish it. So now you're spending about $10,000 to get into this deal. Now, when it comes to furnishing the property, this is where most beginners fail. They think that you can just buy random furniture and just put furniture inside of the property, but professional understands learning how to actually furnish the property and stage up a property and get professional photos for the property is what separates good Airbnb hosts from the average host. Now, a typical 1-bedroom should cost you around $3,000 to $5,000 to furnish. A typical 2-bedroom should cost you around $6,000 to $8,000 to furnish. And a typical 3 to 4-bedroom property should cost you on the range of $10,000 to $15,000 to get furnished. And this is money that I'm talking about if you furnish the property the right way with doing everything properly. You can have the best unit in a market, but if your furniture, your staging, and your pictures suck, your property is not going to perform. Now, to run this business remotely, you need the right automations in place. For example, you'll need a smart lock. On average, a smart lock costs around $150 to $300. Also, depending on your city, you might need a permit to legally operate the property as a short-term rental. Most permits in most cities usually cost anywhere from $200 to $500 per year. Also, you'll need supplies inside of the property. Think like a hotel does: shampoo, conditioner, towels, all the basic necessities you also need to provide for your guests. So realistically, on a low, let's say a 1-bedroom property, it's probably going to cost you around $5,000 to $6,000 to get everything set up. On an average 2-bedroom property, you're probably spending around $8,000 to $12,000 to get it set up. And on average, a 3-bedroom property, you're spending probably around $10,000 to $15,000. And a 4-bedroom property, you're probably spending anywhere around $15,000 to $20,000 to get this set up when we include first month rent, a security deposit, and then the money for furnishing, setting up the property, and getting professional pictures taken. Now, your monthly expenses, this is where a property is a make or break learning how to actually run the business. Now, of course, every single month, your biggest expense is going to be your rent that you're going to pay to the property owner. Then you're going to have other expenses like utilities, like electricity, water, Wi-Fi, gas, trash. Depending on how big the property is, that's probably around $200 to $500 per month. And then the third biggest expense that most people don't realize is your cleaning costs. Now, the best thing with the cleaning costs is that when you list your property, you can actually charge a cleaning fee to your guests, and this could be about as equal to what you actually pay your cleaners. So it kind of subtracts out. Now, just to give you guys an idea, on an average 1-bedroom, you should probably be paying a cleaner about $75 to $100. On an average 2-bedroom, you should probably be paying your cleaners about $100 to $140. On an average 3-bedroom property, you should probably pay your cleaners about $130 to $160. And then on a 4-bedroom property, you should be paying cleaners around $160 to $200. Now, in terms of platform fees, Airbnb takes a 3% fee from the host. So let's say if you get a $1,000 booking that's supposed to hit your account, out of that $1,000, Airbnb is going to take 3%. So you would get $970 that would actually hit your bank account. Now, another factor that is a variable cost is maintenance on a property. There will be essentially things that guests sometimes break, and you have to budget this. Usually you want to budget this anywhere about $100 to $200 every single month. Also, you may need insurance with your property. Short-term rental insurance on most different platforms and websites, you can get short-term rental insurance anywhere on average from about $30 to $100 per month. This is to always protect yourself just in case something really bad happens. You also need software tools when running this business, like pricing, automational tools, hospitality management. On average, most of these tools should only cost you about $20 to $100 per month, so it's not a big expense. Now, let's break down the real numbers. Let's give you guys a simple example. Let's say if I had a property in Dallas, Texas. My rent on this property is $2,000 that I pay the landlord. Let's say my utilities for the month was total $300. So now my expenses for the month is at $2,300. Let's say that month I had 5 different turnovers and I pay my cleaner $100 per clean on this property. So my expenses for cleaning fees was $500. So now rent, utilities, and cleaning fees for the month on this property, I'm at $2,800. But let's say this property in that month actually made me $4,000. So I made $4,000. My expenses with everything was $2,800. My net profit would of course be the $4,000 that I made minus the $2,800. So I made about $1,200 in net profit. Now, $1,200 does not sound like the greatest money in the world, but that's an extra $1,200 that you did not have to physically trade your time for. Once you actually set up the property, you put the right teams in place, you actually set up the automations the right way. Realistically, one property should no more than probably take about 1 hour per week to actually manage it and run it and actually just operate it. And the best part is you can actually do this from anywhere in the world. Most of the properties that I currently run, I run 20 Airbnb properties. I've been doing it for 3 years. Most of the properties I run, I do not live in those cities because I have the teams in place, I have the proper systems in place, and I have automational tools and devices that are needed to run this business pretty much all virtually. Now, another thing with this business, you have to understand that most markets are gonna have a seasonality. Any market, you're gonna have a high season, you're gonna have a mid season, and you're gonna have a slow season. So there's different tools that you guys can actually use out there that are gonna kind of help you guys analyze based on the property you're getting into, based on the market, which seasons you're gonna be in, depending on the month. So in order for you to actually make Airbnb rental arbitrage work, you need to have the right strategy and you need to do this business the right way. Number one, you need to pick the right market. Number two, you need to get into a place where the rent price is very fair. Number three, you need to design your property so it looks nice. Number four, you need to use dynamic pricing so you can actually stay booked out 80 to 90% a month. And number five, you need to actually operate this as a good host so you can attract good reviews, and you need a good team in place. That way your business is operating smoothly and running the right way. Now, in 2026, the question always comes, does Airbnb arbitrage still work? And the very simple answer is yes, if you actually operate this as a real business and as a real operator and as a real host. And it's one of the fastest ways to actually get started with real estate because you don't have to actually buy these properties. And you can still cash flow thousands of dollars per month with these properties. Now, this business, I would not say it's 100% passive, but you can automate majority of the business and you can make 90 to 95% of this business pretty much passive. If you treat it like a real business, actually understand the numbers behind this, you will make money and you will turn this into a profitable business. Now, if you do this business the wrong way and you don't actually follow the steps that I told you, there is a big chance that you can also lose money doing this kind of business. Now, if you are someone that's actually looking to get into this industry, you want to get started with Airbnb, you want to make passive income, you want to learn how to generate $1,000 to $3,000 profit per property, make sure that you guys shoot me a follow, comment any questions that you guys have in the comment section, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. And if you actually want to work with me and my team, there's a link that's going to be down below that you guys can click the link, watch a free training, me breaking down how the business actually works, and you can hop on a call with me or someone from my team where we can actually strategize a game plan and share with you guys on how we're going to be able to help you in this journey the same way I've done with other students. You can check out my YouTube. There's a bunch of other students that I've been able to help them get their first property, some 5 properties of a student with over 10 properties. So if that's what you're interested in, make sure that you guys click the link in the bio, and we look forward to hopping on a call with you one-on-one and helping you actually build a profitable Airbnb business. Look forward to seeing you guys on the next video.